Good day, everyone. Today, we're going to delve into continuing professional development or CPD for teachers in the Philippines. This is an essential aspect of our growth as educators. The Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016 requires that all teachers complete CPD activities as a condition for renewing their professional licenses. These activities, such as workshops, seminars, and accredited courses, are designed to help us enhance our knowledge, improve our teaching practices, and stay up to date with current trends and educational policies. CPD not only helps us meet regulatory requirements, but more importantly, it fosters lifelong learning, enriches our professional journey, and ultimately supports our students' success. Through CPD, we continue to evolve as educators, ensuring we provide the best possible learning experiences for our learners. Continuing professional development or CPD for teachers is enshrined in several key laws and regulations in the Philippines, emphasizing the importance of lifelong learning and professional growth. Let's examine each legal basis and how they relate to one another. The first one is Batas Pambansa 232 or the Education Act of 1982, Chapter 3, Section 16. This provision outlines the teacher's responsibility to pursue continuous professional growth. It highlights that educators must take proactive steps to maintain and advance their skills. This foundation of self-directed development is directly linked to the later requirements in Republic Act 7836, which enforces penalties for noncompliance. Next is Republic Act 7836, Section 23. This law emphasizes that failure to participate in required CPD programs, including seminars and workshops, may result in penalties such as revocation of a teaching certificate. This links back to Batas Pambansa 232, reinforcing the importance of ongoing professional growth while also specifying consequences for neglecting such obligations. The other one is the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers, Article 4, Section 3. The Code of Ethics mandates that teachers engage in continuing professional education, aligning with Republic Act 7836. It ensures that professional development is not just a suggestion, but an ethical duty, thereby creating a clear link between the legal requirement and the professional expectation of teachers. The last one on our list is the Executive Order number 266, issued by President Fidel V. Ramos. This executive order makes it mandatory for all professional licensees, including teachers, to complete CPD programs for license renewal. It builds on their earlier legal frameworks, particularly on the Code of Ethics and Republic Act 7836, by formalizing CPD as a non-negotiable requirement for maintaining professional licensure. Today, we'll give more emphasis and focus on the present legal issuance on CPD, the Republic Act 10912, or also known as the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016. This law mandates all professionals, including educators, to pursue continuous learning through accredited CPD activities. It aims to enhance skills, improve competency, and ensure that professionals stay current with evolving industry standards and practices. Let's dig deeper to its salient provisions. So this act is, as explicitly stated in this issuance, was named as the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016. As indicated in its declaration of policy, the Philippine government promotes continuing professional development to ensure professionals stay competitive and adaptable in a globalized market. By encouraging participation in CPD programs, the state aims to enhance skills, maintain high service standards, and improve overall professional competency. This policy fosters lifelong learning, helping professionals respond effectively to evolving industry demands, thus ensuring quality service and improving the country's professional standards. It ultimately contributes to national growth and global competitiveness. There are various key terms that was mentioned in this act, and you can just review it in the handout that was sent to you. For this lecture, we'll be highlighting few key terms that is of great importance. The first one is CPD, or what we call continuing professional development, which involves acquiring advanced knowledge, skills, and ethical values beyond initial licensure. It focuses on specialization or interdisciplinary learning, enabling professionals to enhance their practice. CPD promotes self-directed research and lifelong learning, ensuring professionals stay updated and responsive to evolving industry demands. This ongoing development supports career growth, improves expertise, and fosters a commitment to ethical standards, ultimately contributing to higher service quality and professional competence in various fields. The next one is CPD credit unit. CPD credit units quantify the amount of learning gained through formal, informal, or non-formal education. These units are accumulated to meet predetermined thresholds, leading to the award of a qualification. By assigning value to diverse learning experiences, CPD credit units recognize the continuous development of professionals, ensuring that their knowledge and skills align with industry standards. This system supports lifelong learning and the achievement of higher qualifications, promoting career advancement and expertise in various fields. The other important term is the CPD program. A CPD program consists of accredited learning activities, including seminars, workshops, lectures, training, and visits, designed to enhance professional expertise in specialized or interdisciplinary fields. These programs provide advanced knowledge, skills, and ethical values, promoting continuous professional growth. CPD programs encourage self-directed research and lifelong learning, helping professionals stay current with industry developments. By participating in such activities, individuals improve their competencies, ensuring they remain competitive and capable of delivering high-quality services in their respective fields. The last one is the CPD provider. A CPD provider is an individual or an organization accredited by the CPD Council to offer approved programs that contribute to the professional development of individuals, enhancing their knowledge, skills, and competencies. Let's now take a look at the section 4, which is focusing on the strengthening of the CPD program. So the section 4 of this act emphasizes strengthening CPD programs across regulated professions to enhance professional competencies and qualifications. These programs aim to align with the Philippine Qualifications Framework, the ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework, and the ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangements. They promote international competitiveness and career progression through specialization. Furthermore, CPD ensures robust mechanisms for validating and accrediting various learning outcomes, be it informal, non-formal, and informal, including professional work experiences and prior learning. This comprehensive approach guarantees the continuous development of professionals, maintaining high standards and ensuring their qualifications remain globally relevant and competitive. Section 4 further emphasizes the need for CPD programs to maintain core competencies while fostering the development of advanced skills to meet evolving labor market demands at national, regional, and international levels. These programs aim to equip professionals with the necessary tools to adapt to industry changes and remain competitive. Additionally, they recognize the vital contributions of professionals in driving the nation's economic growth and improving the general welfare, ensuring that professional development supports broader societal and developmental goals. In Section 5 of this Act, it outlined the diverse nature of CPD programs, encompassing both structured and non-structured activities aimed at enhancing professional learning. These activities includes formal learning, such as courses or workshops, and non-formal learning, such as seminars, informal learning, such as on-the-job training, and self-directed learning. Additionally, CPD programs may involve online learning and professional work experience, allowing professionals to continuously develop their skills in various settings. This flexibility ensures a wide range of learning methods to support ongoing professional growth and competency. Let's discuss them one by one. The first one is formal learning. So formal learning in CPD for teachers refers to structured educational programs offered by accredited institutions leading to qualifications or certifications recognized by respective national authorities. These could involve completing particular degrees such as master's degree or doctoral degree in a specialist or a particular specialized teaching certification. So, on the other hand, non-formal learning involves organized educational activities outside formal institutions, often flexible and tailored to specific needs. These learning may include workshops, seminars, or training programs that contribute to professional development. Similarly, informal learning takes place through daily experiences and self-directed learning, often unstructured but valuable. Teachers can have their informal learning recognized through accreditation or validation processes. In addition, we have also self-directed learning. This involves independent learning activities such as online courses or workshops which are not initially CPD accredited but can be applied for CPD units. Teachers independently choose topics of interest for their professional growth. Moreover, we also have online learning activities, the use of internet or other digital platforms that could be used in facilitating learning. These can be formal or informal also and can be used by teachers for professional development. Finally, we have professional work experience. This refers to learning gained directly through work activities, contributing to the teacher's skills and competencies. Such experiences can be recognized for CPD credit units if they align with professional development goals. So let us now proceed to Section 7, which is talk about the CPD Council. Section 7 establishes a CPD Council for each regulated profession operating under the supervision of the relevant Professional Regulatory Board or PRB. Each council is led by a chairperson and 2 members responsible for overseeing the implementation of CPD programs within the respective professions, ensuring compliance and quality standards. The other one is on Section 9, which talk about the Secretariat. So Section 9 creates a CPD Council Secretariat within the PRC Central and Regional Offices to support the CPD Councils and professional regulatory boards. The Secretariat provides essential technical, administrative, and operational assistance in executing the CPD programs. It is headed by an executive director appointed by the Professional Regulations Commission to ensure efficient program management. Section 10, on the other hand, mandates that continuing professional development as a compulsory requirement for the renewal of professional identification cards or the PICs for all professionals regulated by the PRC, which includes the professional teachers. This ensures that licensed professionals continuously improve their skills and knowledge, maintaining competence in their respective fields and adapting to industry changes. Section 11 furthermore stipulates that all validated and recognized CPD credit units earned by a professional will be accumulated and transferred in alignment with the Philippine Qualifications Framework or the PQF. This system ensures a standardized approach to skill development, promoting consistency and clarity in professional growth across various sectors. Let's now proceed with Section 12. Section 12 of this law outlines the development of a career progression and specialization program, which will be formulated by the Professional Regulations Commission and the Professional Regulatory Boards in consultation with various stakeholders, including the Civil Service Commission and industry representatives. This program, designed to enhance professional growth, will be integrated into the continuing professional development. It aims to provide structured pathways for career advancement and specialization, ensuring that professionals continuously develop expertise and remain competitive in their respective fields. The last one is on Section 13. There are other sections, but we'll be ending in this section for this particular act. Section 13 mandates that both government agencies and private organizations incorporate continuing professional development into their human resource development plans. This ensures that professionals, regardless of sector, receive ongoing opportunities for skill enhancement and development, contributing to workforce competence, career growth, and overall organization effectiveness. So The enactment of the Republic Act 10912 resulted to the crafting of the operational guidelines in the implementation of the Republic Act 10912 for professional teachers. So this was conceptualized and issued by the Professional Regulatory Board for Professional Teachers through a resolution numbered 11 series of 2017. So this PRB resolution is a pivotal regulation issued by the Professional Regulatory Board for Professional Teachers to implement the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016. This resolution sets the guidelines for the accreditation and recognition of CPD activities aimed at enhancing the competencies of licensed professional teachers in the Philippines. It outlines the framework for CPD programs, including the allocation of credit units for various professional development activities, ensuring that educators remain updated, skilled, and effective in their practice. The resolution is a key component in promoting lifelong learning and elevating the standards of the teaching profession. So let us examine the key provisions of this resolution, focusing on how it underscores the importance of continuing professional development in enhancing the skills and competencies of educators within the teaching profession. This resolution outlines four distinct tracks through which professional teachers can earn CPD credit units. Each track offers unique opportunities for professional growth, and we will take a closer look at each one to understand their specific requirements and benefits. So the first one is under the professional track, which are the training offered by accredited CPD providers, be it in face-to-face or online. Under the professional track, licensed professional teachers can earn CPD credit units through accredited CPD provider programs, whether face-to-face or online. Participants earn credit units as per the program's accreditation. Resource speakers, trainers, and demonstration teachers, on the other hand, receive 3 units per hour, while panelists and reactors earn 2 units per hour. Facilitators or moderators receive 1 unit per hour, and monitors earn twice the approved credit units for the CPD program. In-service training is capped at 20 credit units within a 12-month period. Supporting documentation is required for verification for this particular track. The next one is the academic track. So licensed professional teachers can earn CPD credit units from various academic achievements and roles. So if one completes a master's degree, it will be granted full credits for the compliance period, while completing doctoral candidacy provides full credit units, with additional units awarded upon degree completion. Professorial chairs earn 15 credit units annually, and postdoctoral diploma holders receive 10 credit units per year. Participation in a fellowship grant earns 2 credit units, while serving as a resource speaker in a fellowship grant provides 4 credit units. So research grant, on the other hand, if you will be participating, offers 5 credit units for local and 10 credit units for international grants. So supporting documentation is required for all these activities to be credited. So the third one is self-directed. So self-directed track training offered by non-accredited CPD providers, be it in a face-to-face or online setup. Under the self-directed category, licensed professional teachers can earn CPD credit units through training programs offered by non-accredited CPD providers, whether face-to-face or online. Participants earn credit units based on the program's approval. Resource speakers, trainers, and demonstration teachers may receive 3 credit units per hour, while panelists and reactors earn 2 units per hour. Facilitators or moderators receive 1 credit unit per hour, and accreditors earn 10 credit units per visit, while in-service training is capped at 10 credit units within a 12-month period. Again, supporting documentation is required for validation. The last one is under the productive scholarship track. Under this track, licensed professional teachers may earn CPD credit units for specific scholarly activities. This includes developing educational programs, training modules, curriculum guides, or resource materials for 5 credit units, authoring technical or research papers for 5 credit units per paper, publishing articles in a refereed peer-reviewed journals for 10 credit units for local and 15 credit units for international publications, with units divided among multiple authors. And 4, we have serving as peer reviewer for journal articles, or 2 credit units per article. Again, supporting documentation is required for credit validation, and it is expected that the licensee will submit the necessary requirements. Okay, so let's discuss further the regulations of the Professional Regulatory Board regarding these identified credit units that professional teacher can avail of. So the first one is on Section 5, which states that the maximum creditable units for self-directed and or lifelong learning activities under Section 4 of this resolution is 10 credit units per compliance period. This limit ensures that while individuals can earn credit units through self-directed learning, it is capped to maintain a balanced approach to professional development. Succeeding section of the resolution, the Section 6, highlights and categorizes CPD activities into 2 major areas. We have ethics, which is 5 minimum credit units, while the other one is professional development, which is 40 minimum credit units. These requirements ensure professionals balance ethical conduct with technical knowledge development, promoting well-rounded growth in both personal values and professional expertise within each compliance period. One important note also was highlighted in Section 7 of mandating that all professional teachers must complete 45 CPD credit units within a 3-year compliance period. This requirement ensures continuous professional development, fostering teachers' growth in both technical and ethical conduct, aligning with the evolving needs of the education sector. So in conclusion, the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016 plays a crucial role in ensuring that professionals remain competent, ethical, and up-to-date in their respective fields. By requiring regular CPD activities, the Act fosters lifelong learning and growth, which benefits both professionals and the industries they serve. As we move forward, embracing CPD will continue to strengthen our skills, improve service quality, and ultimately contribute to the advancement of our professions and society as a whole. So that would be all. Thank you.